The fact that we had to earn a right to vote should say enough about how men are more inherently privileged.
You didn't
the
earn
fact
it.
that we've never
No.
Okay, sorry. The fact that we didn't have it to begin with. The fact that we've had what 49 presidents. What president are we on now? And they've all been male. Oh, sorry.
Apex
white
fallacy.
male besides one.
Apex fallacy.
So it's things like that show us the fact that these things even exist for a reason, which I get what you're saying when it's teaching you, oh, when I come in, I'm teaching, it's showing me that I'm so less privileged. First of all, that's a flaw on yourself because I've never seen those things and thought that way. I think if anything, it just brings attention to people who might not realize how much privilege they have just from the person they were born as. Some people don't realize that, and it does great justice for them to be able to recognize their privilege and use it for good. So it's not supposed to show people, oh, if you're black or a woman or gay, then you're just less privileged and you're screwed.
I don't know if we can reference history as an example for this.
Why not?
But what about today?
Why can we not reference history? Because even still now,
I'll even engage. Wait. Let me come in. I will even engage with you guys historically. I'm prepared to say that actually, even historically, men had it worse than women.
Agreed.
And if you want to look at the apex, you want to look at the 1% of men who had power, fine. You want to look at the less than 1% of men who had power, cool. That's not about men and women. That's about who had power. If we're looking at the vast majority of men, the vast majority of women, I'm prepared to sit here and say, historically, I don't care how far back you want to go, men have always had it worse. How about that?
Absolutely.
So get the
no.
Because for a long time in history, women weren't even allowed to be talked unless they were talked to. They had to stay in the house. All these rules, women had to stay in their place, right? Men decided that.
It's like that joke, and now women want to.
You can phrase it as poorly as you want to.
Well, yeah.
But
no, absolutely.
Hold on, let Mason speak. Go ahead.
Historically, hold up. No, if we're talking historically, women didn't actually want the right to vote. You talk about it now, well, because they understood the privileged position they were in. A man provided for them to live, provided a place for them to raise a family. All they had to do was take care of the home, raise children, and they found that in extremely
true.
Well, that's just for most of history.
I feel like if that were true, women would not have ganged together to fight for rights like that.
Oh, that's not true though. Privileged, extremely wealthy white men pushed for women to have the right to vote.
And so they would be in that if men don't want it, we can't have it. Thank you. What?
No, because women didn't want it. It's only this recent phenomenon.
But the reason why it was able for us to get it is because white men wanted us to have it, so we got it. So what does that say? White men dictate.
Because they're taking, because they can take advantage of this.
There was a different motive than just wanting women to vote behind them pushing women to vote.
Because then all of a sudden, if they start,
I'm just saying it only happened because a white man wanted it to.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to make historical arguments. We can go back. Let's go back to the 1910s when women didn't have the right to vote. Let's laser in.
And we were segregated and a bunch of other stuff.
Let's go back to the 1910s. So women got the right to vote in 1918, I believe, or was it ratified in 1920? My years might be slightly off there. So, would you prefer to be an 18-year-old man or an 18-year-old woman in 1914?
18-year-old man.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting because you know what else happened in can somebody fix that? You know what else?
Take it off.
God. Did the popcorn spill again?
No.
Okay.
Whatever.
You know what else happened in 1914?
What?
World War I.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would love to fight for my country if I was a man. I'm literally a criminology and criminal justice major who's going to fight for my counties and serve them. So I think, yes, as a man, I would want to serve my country.
It's not a privilege to fight in war.
It's not.
I understand you're not saying it's a privilege to fight in war, but it's also something that us in our society, we have no grasp over. I don't have a grasp over it. Mm-hmm. I've never fought in war. I've never seen it. I mean, the closest thing I can say, I've seen a dead body, and it's not exactly the same thing you would assume it would be. It's a very different experience. But people who have come back from war, they know it's an extremely unprivileged position to have to fight, to have to go do that, and then especially in their case in 1914, being forced to do so. I would find it extremely difficult to say that in 1914 I would be more privileged to be a man than a woman. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't go do it, and I wouldn't go do it gladly to protect my country. 100%, I would do that, but it wouldn't be a privileged position.
What happened to free will?
What do you mean free will?
All this privilege talk and everything. We live in America, the land of opportunity. Like, what happened
It's really
to free will?
hard to have a good opportunity when, say, you're born from a crackhead.
You work hard. You work hard,
but you were definitely placed. You have to work harder than someone who was born with a silver spoon.
Here,
it's more motivation. It's more motivation. Yeah, because there's a lot of children that come from affluent families that have no moral guide or purpose in this world because they've been given everything to them on a silver platter.
That's fine, but you can't say that someone who isn't born from an affluent family who family is able to help them, maybe pay for their college, maybe get them their first car, versus someone who's born in, say, foster care.
Holy irrelevant. Stick to the topic. We're going to talk about male privilege and female privilege. So here, bro, because you guys keep derailing the conversation. We're literally, like, it's totally derailed every single time. We can talk about the Bible
for 20 minutes, but we can't talk about something that has, not that I don't love it.
It was relevant.
It pertained to the topic.
It was
relevant. Not pertain to
umbrella.
So
under
look,
the same
Brian was trying to hone in on male versus female privilege, and then we started talking about affluent crackheads.
Yeah, it's totally derailed.
Because it gets boring after a little bit. We don't want to talk about this.
And we're using hypotheticals and statistics to back up each other's things.
Like, you're the only one tweaking out.
Let me open it up to the whole panel. So, who's more privileged, men or women?
Men.
Speaking to the mic, please.
I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
It really depends on what aspect you're talking about.
Yeah.
True.
I agree with that.
It depends. Okay, those are really helpful answers here.
I'd say men.
Men.
Okay. Mason?
I would say in today's day and age, women.
I agree.
Why? Honestly, I think I would say woman.
Why would you say that?
Because we have, like, pretty privilege.
That's true.
That's fair. That's well put. Based.
Right. Well, that's why I say
what about an ugly girl? Does an ugly girl have the same privilege as a beautiful woman?
I guess not.
In that matter, no.
Okay, but I think ugly man versus attractive man, obviously attractive men have different privileges than an ugly man, but an overall, like, when we mean
like umbrella statement.
Yes, that
umbrella statement,
regardless if they're attractive or not, men have more privilege. But if you're an attractive woman, you can have privilege. But if you're an ugly woman, then what do you get?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let's fast forward back to modern day. So if we're looking at the modern day, how do males have more privilege than women in totality? You can answer, Keeko.
I'm tired of talking.
You can talk. Go ahead.
I'm tired of talking. Can we get some other?
Well, I don't know if any of the girls want to weigh in on that.
I don't either.
Well, you were making the argument.
I'm tired of every time I try to make my argument, I'm derailing apparently. So I'm like,
no, because I'm asking you a direct question as the host. You start talking over here about crackhead babies,